Hey guys, Paul here from Meldrum Performance Coaching. Welcome to the podcast / video. Today I'm going to be talking about the language we use with our clients when we're looking at coming across as, I've spilt water all over myself, as a better coach. So what brought this on was a couple of things. It was a social media post at first and then a coaching call I actually witnessed. And for respective people, I won't be bringing their names up. Reason being, I don't think it's really worthwhile calling people out. It doesn't really ever help anyone. It just leads to unproductive discourse, and that's something that I don't want to be involved in. So when we're talking to our clients, a lot of coaches seem to really get off on the fact that clients use words like tone and sculpt. And the first thing that they do is they then go, well, did you know that there's no such thing as tone? Muscles can only grow or shrink. You can only have gain fat, lose fat, build muscle, or lose muscle. You can't tone. And someone says they want to change their body shape. Well, you need to get bigger. And this kind of belittling of clients for the language that they use has never ever been helpful. It's a sense of misguided moral superiority from the coach in that particular situation. And what you're doing from a neurological perspective with this client, an emotional perspective, is when a client comes to you and they're vulnerable, they've gone through this whole decision-making process where they're like, okay, cool, I want to change something and I need help. That's a big step for anyone to make. And it's something that needs to be rewarded and respected rather than ridiculed. Rewarded and respected, that's cool. But what we want to do is someone comes to us and they've made this decision. It's taken them some long time. It takes people a long time to make these decisions, and that, look, I just want to tone up. And the first thing that the coach says is, well, you don't actually tone up. You actually just you're just going to build muscle and lose fat. Why are we so attached to the need to be right, the need to be technically right, that what we're going to do is ridicule this poor client when they come in to see you for the first time? What were you hoping to achieve? What you've probably achieved is making that client feel like crap, feel like they're a bit of an idiot, and be less likely to trust you and to listen to your advice in the future by trying to show off your misguided sense of intellectual superiority, which only relates to training. We don't know about any other area of life, but we're not going to judge right now. By doing that, you've just given yourself an uphill battle coaching-wise straight off the bat. So that's a really bad piece of language to use. So when people come to you and they've got all these misconceptions about how things actually are compared to what we know to be accurate, our job is not to ridicule them and treat them like crap for it. Our job is to just embrace what they've said and guide them in the direction and involve them in the coaching process. Another thing that I hear a lot is when people will say, particularly in sales calls, when they're told to question clients, are you able to be coached? Are you coachable? That is a terrible piece of advice as well, because everyone's coachable. If you're just calling someone out for not being coachable already without actually giving them a chance, it's really not a good thing. Clients going to try and prove themselves to you, or they're going to bite back. You're going to have one or two options. It's not going to be anything else. So in terms of that being a good question on a sales call, sales calls need to be less about challenging people and trying to call people on their shit, as seems to be the trend, more about listening to the client, and then speaking to them in a way that they understand and that also that resonates with them. What I would recommend that most people do with their sales calls, with their coaching practice, with how they communicate with their clients, is always try and make it a more collaborative experience. What do I mean by that? Always involve the client in the coaching experience. Always tell the clients that you are going to have a part of a decision-making process, because it's really important that we make choices together that fit into the structure of your life, that they fit into what you like doing, so you'll be consistent, and then you'll make it into a lifestyle and a habit. Does that sound good to you? That type of approach there is so much more engaging, and it's also very collaborative straight away with the client. You're already forming yourself as an alliance with that client straight up off the bat in your sales consultation, rather than creating a separation of I'm the coach, you're the client, you do what I say. We always need to be collaborative towards people, and unless they're in an elite athletic environment, which is a separate podcast, a separate discussion, which I'll have later. But we always want to be collaborative with people to help bring down the level of threat, the level of fear that they have, and the level of apprehension they have to getting help. If we make it sound like, hey, we're going to be your trusted advisor and your guiding light along this path, rather than someone who's just going to dictate to you what to do and you got to do what we say, we're going to have a lot more success with our clients. We're going to have a lot higher conversion rate on our sales, and we're going to have longer term clients. So guys, hope that's been useful. Any questions, hit me up, social media, blah, 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 leave a review, etc. Podcast related talk. Thanks heaps, guys. See you soon.